Okay. Hello, everyone. I never know how to start these things because YouTube basically just kind of doesn't really do much in the way of a countdown. So I never really know when I'm live. So it's possible that you got just part of that. So today we're going to talk about the AI episode that I just randomly spit out of nowhere this week that I wasn't planning on doing and did very last minute, just as an exercise and also just a way to. Um, Kind of just get through the emotions I was having. Like I said in the description that apparently a lot of people didn't read, that the entire thing was born out of the George Carlin AI comedy special that came out. For those of you that don't know, I think that they were comedians that did it. It was like a podcast that was involved. I didn't really look into it because honestly, I don't care. But basically, somebody fed all of George Carlin's material, hours and hours and hours, however many stand-up specials he has, into an AI, and they generated a very real sounding but ultimately flawed comedy special. Obviously, if you listen to it, it's like it sounds like it should have jokes. It sounds like it's setting up for jokes, but it doesn't obviously have that touch. So that was kind of what set me off when that happened, and then I had a pretty lengthy conversation with my friends. So we'll get into that. I'll talk about the actual episode, people's reaction to the episode, kind of what I did to get to that point, and kind of what the actual process of making the episode was. I don't know how much I'm going to go into detail. The thing is, I'm not an expert on AI. I've been dabbling, I've been reading. It's been interesting to look at. I'm by no means fluent. I don't want to try to pass myself off as an expert, and I don't want people in the comments cross-checking everything I say. So I'll do my best, but I don't exactly know how much I'm going to say. I don't know how much of a job it is for people who are creating satire to explain their satire. But that's the purpose of this live, is to, kind of have a back and forth about what it was. So I'll talk a little bit about it, and I'll talk about what I was kind of feeling. But before we start with that, I did want to go through some things that I got today. I went out thrift shopping, and I got some items that I think that my audience is probably the type of audience that would like. I managed to find Tommy and the Cool Mule. It's Ice-T as the voice of the mule, and Kevin Sorbo, because of course it's Kevin Sorbo. This one, Belly of the Beast. This is still in its original wrapping. There's a lot of stuff you find in thrift stores that are still in their original wrapping. And this is the ancient mystery that holds the secret of the Antichrist's resurrection and return. So that'll be interesting. I got this one. Another one that's so totally sealed. I think people just make these and then drop them off because they want people to watch them. But Off the Record is a series of never before aired interviews with senior analysts from the Pentagon talking about the shadow government and the final New World Order. So that'll be interesting. And then our best find, something that was truly, truly amazing to come across as we were on our way out the store, was this tape that's Hulk Hogan's All-Time Champ. It's a cartoon from the 80s where Hulk Hogan battles jewel thieves in the Amazon, visits Sherwood Forest, and foils an evil band of super spies. So we're eager to check this one out. What's really interesting about this is we noticed that they were pricing it more, so we figured it must be rare to some degree because it was away from all of the other tapes in the thrift store. And so we looked it up, and there was actually a version that came out in 1995. So I think that this was the original version in the 80s, and then they re-released it in 95, and those are the only copies you can find. We did, not that much of a search. I'm going to do a much more exhaustive search as I do later on, but I am interested to find out if this is as rare as it seems to be, and more so, I'm just interested to watch it. So once again, Post Mortem, like I said, I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit about the process, about what I did. And then I'll also answer questions along the way. I'll probably keep a lot of the questions till the end, but might as well mainly just because I don't want to get all over the place and kind of lose my place where I'm going. But it's nice to see you, Sayeg, and good to see you. Baseball's Not Dead, and thank you for letting me know about your name of your web series. And I can just answer that right now. I talked about this last time. Like, I do have some good pilots that I think would be worth looking at. it's a harder thing. Like I think that, if you look at the shows that I've done so far, they're all kind of based around this like absurd premise, or, something that kind of like ticked me off in a particular way, or just kind of spoke to me. But it might actually be interesting to take a look at something that, and also, people keep recommending Look Well, and people keep recommending Heatwave and Jack, and people keep recommending, I know there's more. I can look. And so it would be interesting to see like what I can do. I know there was also one I was looking at. There's a sci-fi show. The It's Always Sunny guys tried to do their own Star Trek show, and that was a failure. Gosh, what was it called? I think it's called Boldly Going Nowhere. I think that's what it's called, but it's essentially their Orwell or their whatever, but it didn't get picked up. And from looking at the comments, like I watched a little bit of it and I was like, okay, but from the comments, people seem to be they thought it was pretty good. And, you think it actually pretty decent. So yeah, so that'd be something to look at. But I'm sure it's not perfect. None of these are. So, will I look at a good pilot? Probably. Eventually. It's just trying to figure out how to still make that entertaining. So yeah, that's how that goes. So this AI episode was really, like I said, I wasn't expecting the response I got. I didn't know what to expect. I really just kind of, I was kind of surprised. Like right now I've been, telling people like I'm in this like kind of YouTube sweet spot where, I've got close to 2,000 subscribers. I'm not really on the map. Nobody really knows about me. Anything I say doesn't really have any dents or meaning. Nobody really gives a shit. And so I can kind of get away with a lot. And also the people who watch are people who like the show. They're not like trolls. They're not people who don't like it. They're fans who have surprisingly been subscribed since the beginning, even though, I've had these like long hiatuses that have lasted, a couple of years or so. So I was kind of surprised when I posted this AI episode. And, because I'm in that sweet spot, and this isn't like bragging, this is just information. Like, normally I don't get dislikes. I go to my analytics and it's like, I don't usually have dislikes on my videos. This one, within 30 seconds, somebody disliked it. And I think it was probably just because they saw AI episode, saw the thumbnail, and then more people started to watch it. And I think people just, and I talked to some friends, a lot of people didn't get that it was a joke and that I was being critical of AI. I thought that, it would become more apparent as the episode went along. I thought especially putting the quote from Ian Malcolm at the end would kind of solidify my stance on AI. And I thought that saying that you will never see AI on my channel again would be a way to say that I'm anti-AI. And AI is a tricky subject. Like I said, I don't want to say, one way or the other. I've been, doing a lot of thinking, and obviously I did this episode. And so I got to work with AI. And so I'll kind of take you through the process of what I did, because I wanted to just see what it would be like to create an entire episode and to see if I could teach my AI to write an episode like me. It was really just an exercise. And I kind of was just curious about what would happen. So I sat down with my AI, and it should be worth noting that I treat my AI like garbage. I call it an idiot if it messes up. I give it degrading names I make it answer to degrading names. My girlfriend thinks that when the revolution starts, I will be the first one enslaved under robotic rule, just because I'm so incredibly cruel to my AI. But what's it going to do? So I started talking to my AI and I started feeding it my scripts. And I tried to feed it the first one, and it kicked it back to me, and it said it violated content rules and it wasn't allowed. And so, I've worked enough with AI that I realized that you kind of have to trick it to do things. So essentially I refed it the script, or actually I didn't refeed the script yet. I said to it, okay, well, I don't want you to do anything but take my script and analyze it for content, for structure, for humor, for all of the things that make up my episodes. And eventually I got it to say, okay. And so I fed it the script, and I kind of just did it very slowly. I had about 14 or 15 scripts to feed it. And I kind of just kept slowly feeding it and saying like, okay, AI, are you ready for the next one? And just gave it the next one. And I'd kind of quiz it as we went along, like, hey, what do I do? Or what do I say at the end of every episode? and the AI would be like, "See you soon," and I'd be like, "Good job, AI." I was being particularly nice to it at that point. And we managed to, I managed to feed all of it in. I fed the pilot in, I fed in a transcription of it. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else I gave it. I gave it a couple tidbits that I thought might be relevant. I obviously had to feed it the names of the people who worked on it. The AI, it's not advanced enough. It's not a search engine right now. It wouldn't be able to pull up the names and information of that. So that was kind of how I fed it. And then I basically just kind of was like taking it through the process and saying, can you just spit out an episode for me? Can you write the way I write? And it spit out everything as quickly as it possibly could. I didn't read it. I read actually the first few lines just to verify whether or not this would be funny or entertaining. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to print out all this. It was 9 pages long. I fed it into my teleprompter app. I went over here, I set it up, and I did the whole thing in one take, having just read it for the first time. So all the reactions you see are genuine reactions when I'm really when I'm annoyed about the stupid puns. There were only a couple times I went back to redo a joke, but it was more so just because I didn't particularly like the way I read it. Because I was like, the AI probably wanted me to read it like this. So I just would do the, line again. But I really just wanted to see what it would be like to fully automate an episode and to do it and to see what it would end up being like. And to kind of, because I've been treating this as like a cautionary tale, because a lot of my friends are a lot more optimistic about AI, a lot more positive. I teach actually a screenwriting class, and we end every class, the final class in the 8-week series is a long discussion of AI, and I'm very, very, very critical of it. I'm very critical of its role in art, and obviously I'm not naive enough to think it's going away. But I think my overall stance now is it's not going away, but I'm sure as hell not going to aid in it becoming like this massive entity that takes everything over. And I'm certainly not going to use it. I think that's the main thing I realized while I was doing the episode is that I didn't need to use it. Like it didn't actually do anything that was like particularly helpful. All it did was just screw everything up and make bad text and continually miss the point. And it could kind of sound like me, I guess, but I didn't really feel like, I felt like my friend Keith said that it was akin to watching a friend slowly submit to dementia. That's what he felt like when he was watching the episode. And I can kind of get that. I wanted it to be a disorienting experience. I didn't want to kind of lead you through it. I wanted you to watch it and kind of almost trick you, because like I said, I wanted to treat it as kind of a cautionary tale. Like, this is AI in its infancy, and in its infancy, it's funny because it's kind of stupid, but it's also not really stupid. It's really, really good at what it does. And if this is it in its infancy, if I'm able to generate this episode and make people think that like, I don't know, I hit my head or something, imagine what it'll be in like a year. And it's like, there's no shortage of predictions of what everybody is saying AI will accomplish. John Lasseter, I think it's John Lasseter, one of the bigwigs at Pixar, just came out and said that 80 to 90% of jobs, animation jobs, will be extinct in 3 years. And we're just letting it happen. We're just willingly walking along and just letting all this happen. So I felt soulless working on it. I didn't feel particularly proud of it because, like, what is there to be proud of? I can't be proud of any of the jokes I put in. The AI wrote them. I can be proud of the little touches I put on it to make fun of the AI, like a few clips here and there, but it didn't feel like me. It didn't feel like a good episode. You didn't actually learn anything. If anything, it just kept running in circles. The AI would set it up as if it was going to make a point, and then we'd cut to a commercial, which I don't know where the AI got commercials from. I think that's the weirdest thing is like I could quiz it and say, hey, how do I end my episodes? And it would say, see you soon. But then I would say, generate a script, and it would churn out like 5 paragraphs of just gobbledygook that just doesn't sound like me at all. It doesn't have my sign off, doesn't have anything that even remotely sounds like me. I was surprised, like about the dislikes, but nobody commented. So it's not like there was any kind of discussion or engagement, or there was anything that really I learned from it. I just learned that people are sensitive about AI right now. But that's essentially it. So there wasn't like a lot to this episode. It was something that I did, and it was also a way for me to just kind of put a period at the end of this sentence and say, no more AI, because I don't need to. Like the things that I used, the images, the voices. I like doing voices on my show. I do all the voices on the show. Every voice you hear, from old ladies to whatever, is me. And I like doing it, even if it sounds stupid. Pulling in AI doesn't seem that appealing to me. I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers. I've followed this guy for years. I won't say his name, but he's one of my favorites. He's honestly the inspiration for what I do, essentially. And he started using AI voices. And it just feels unnatural and gross and weird. And it was like, I one time was okay. But then he used it again and again and again. And I was kind of like, where is it going to stop? Like, is his whole show going to be AI? Like, it just became too much. And I guess I just felt like it was unnecessary, because I followed this guy for like probably 6 or 7 years. And I followed him perfectly fine without AI. And I liked it when he did the voices. Like, I thought that was the charm. I thought that was what he brought to it. It was the soul of his piece. And it's like, once you take it out of there, nothing good comes from homogenizing all of our content. Like, if, everybody's special, nobody's special. Like, I take a lot of pride in the Photoshop work I do on the pilot. I have to search for these things. I learned how to use Photoshop. I learned how to do lessons. And when I don't know how to do something, I Google it or look up YouTube videos on how to do it. And then I feel accomplished because I did it. And people can look at it and be like, oh, he spent time on that. But there's going to come a point, and it's already happening now, where people aren't going to be impressed by graphic design. Nobody's going to give a shit, because everybody's going to be able to do it. And I just don't know why this is a world we want to live in. I don't understand it. And so these are all the emotions, and these are all the things I was feeling when I made this episode. And I spit this episode out very quickly. I had the conversation with my friends we started at 10 a.m. And by 12 o'clock, I was working on the episode. I was filming by 1. I went to see Migration with my daughter. And then I came back and finished the episode. Migration was I mean, for an Illumination film, it was beautifully animated until they brought the humans in. I don't know why Illumination can't animate humans. They make the most disgusting looking humans. But it was the first animated film from Illumination that wasn't just like racist and stupid. But it wasn't good. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so I made the episode after I got back from Migration. It was the first episode I could show my daughter, actually, because obviously I can't show her the other stuff I do, but AI is incapable of writing the jokes that I write. Yeah, so I'm glad I hung in there, though it did take me a really long time to figure out the AI was in charge. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I thought a lot about it, and I really, really just I didn't want to put a disclaimer at the beginning. I wanted it to just feel like a pilot episode. I wanted it to feel like organic and to kind of trick you, because that was the point. And I could have probably ratcheted it up even more to make it more obvious, but I really didn't want to taint the script that the AI had spit out. I didn't want to go off on any tangents and try to force the hand of the AI and make it more interesting or make it crazier than it actually was. I wanted to give you an actual representation of just what this is and how, with very little effort, I can't stress to you how little effort I put into this. I was able to spit out an episode that tricked people. And like I said, I'm also kind of like, am I that bad of a writer, or is AI that good? I am a little disappointed that people were thinking that all of a sudden I just forgot how to write jokes, because there genuinely are no jokes in it. It just keeps making the same jokes about fashion choices and technology. And yeah, had a stroke essentially. But yeah, I know there's a better way to do this. I know I always take the long road to things. I'm stubborn. I don't advertise. I don't promote. I don't do the things I should. I should have probably set up the episode better, but I'm stubborn and I was like, whatever. People who get it will get it. And if you don't get it the first time, you can watch it again. I mean, not to, I'm like, okay, watch my stuff twice, but it's like if you felt the urge to watch my stuff again, you could then get it and see, how it actually worked and maybe read the description on how I actually did the episode. But more so, it was just, it was just an experiment, and it really solidified my feelings. And now I deleted the AI app. I got rid of my subscription. I'm just done. My original intent before this episode was that I was, thinking, oh, I'll probably use it here and there as a tool, as an aid, as an add-on, something like that. But I just don't think I need to. I really don't. And I think that I've spoken enough, especially with my friends, about how anti-AI I am. And so I think it's kind of one of those, I have to put my money where my mouth is. And I don't really lose anything by doing it. If anything, I'm going to be different because everybody else is going to have AI generated content that looks the same. And I will have something that looks like, a third grader made it. And that's my style. And, people who have been watching it are fine with that style. And it's like, I don't all of a sudden need to become this polished show. So that's really all I had to say. I don't have a ton more to say on the subject. Like I said, I didn't put any creative input into it, so I can't really talk about what it was like. It was weird. So there was one other thing I wanted to say that I thought was an interesting aspect of this all. And it's that normally, my show, I kind of take a bunch of clips from the internet and I pull a lot of them, and it's like a whole big mix of different things. And I don't credit people, and it's not because I'm stealing. I think it's because I'm very obviously pointing to another clip, and I'm not saying I made this clip. Like if I showed in the Solar Man episode, vegan Solar Man, obviously I'm not the vegan Solar Man. I didn't get that clip. If you want to go find that, go to YouTube, type in vegan Solar Man. But I didn't feel the need to maybe I should. I mean, honestly, maybe I should. But I think it's pretty obvious that I'm not taking these clips. For this episode, I went around doing a search for AI generated content. And this time I did actually feel weird not properly crediting the people that I borrowed their content, because I felt like, oh, they're going to think I made this all. I made these commercials and I made this. But then I was like, but I'm crediting them for something they didn't make. It's weird. It's a weird place to be because you can't copyright AI material. So it was a weird thing to think, but I credited everybody. And honestly, I might as well just start doing that from now on. There's no harm in driving traffic to lower, content creators, because usually I pick things that I try to find things that people haven't seen. So I try to shed light on things that you definitely probably haven't seen. So I go to the very bottom of, the searches, and I look at things that have the least amount of views, because I want to show things that, you're not tired of seeing. So, yeah, this was another thrift store find. So, and thank you, Jeff. That really means a lot. So, yeah, I have this time because I realized how incredibly thirsty I got last time. Yeah, so that's the episode. I'll be back, next time with a episode that is written by me. It will feel like a classic episode. It won't feel strange. I'll do all of everything myself. And that'll be the end of AI on this channel. And hopefully my subs will come back and my dislikes will go down. I lost subs. I got dislikes. It was interesting. People really hate AI. People really hate it. And they're not even willing to see if something is satire or what. So whatever, it was an experiment, and I guess, yeah, time will tell. Thanks again, Jeff. Thanks again, Phelan. I really appreciate everybody sticking around. I really appreciate the views. I appreciate just it all. Like I said, for somebody who doesn't do a very good job YouTubing, I'm trying my best. I'm trying to get my stuff out there because obviously I'd like a bigger audience. But as I've said before, with a bigger audience comes trolls. And if you've watched my show, I have an inability to pass up mocking trolls, which will be seen in the next episode. So stay tuned. I have a whole fun bit. And then we also have a giveaway. I had talked about giving away an item. So before we leave, I'll ask a trivia question. Hopefully, if you guys get it, great. If not, I'll think of another one on the fly. I've got no shortage of questions to ask, but I think this is a fairly easy one. So I will go. And the way that we'll do this is first person to answer in the chat. Just email me at thepilotisdeadshow@gmail.com. I will get your shirt size and address, and I will send you your custom t-shirt. And then I'll also have a giveaway next time for a different shirt. But you're gonna have to wait for that one. That one's actually already made, so I can't get that one custom. But I don't think I want the shirt in my possession. I'd rather just give it away, and you'll understand when you see the shirt on the next episode. So for everybody paying attention, here's the question. Good luck. In episode 2, I covered probably the quintessential unaired pilot that I've used as the base mark for everything I look at, and that is Puchinsky. So in Puchinsky, alongside Peter Boyle, there was a lead actor. The lead actor was also known for his role in Father of the Bride. Now, after doing Puchinsky, he did another talking animal movie. What was the name of this 90s comedy that was unreleased but appeared on VHS? 90s talking, animal. I mean, I'll give you another hint. You cannot Google. Another hint is he starred alongside Whoopi Goldberg. This was a movie that I saw the trailer for. Yes, Phelan, you got it. Theodore Rex. I saw the trailer for Theodore Rex on VHS. I thought it looked amazing. I thought it looked like the greatest movie of all time. Bear in mind, I was like 12. And then it never got released. And if you look into the history of Theodore Rex, I would definitely tell you, to Google Theodore Rex oral history. I think it was an oral history that's out there, but definitely Google Theodore Rex production problems, whatever. There's a whole thing about it. Like Whoopi Goldberg sued. There's just look into it. It's a mess. And eventually the film did get released. It didn't get a theatrical release. It got released to video. And I don't even think I made it through the whole thing. I hated it so much. So it was an absolute disappointment. Theodore Rex, yes, he was in 2 movies that were basically the same thing, and he was solving crime. So good luck and good job, Phelan. Just email me, thepilotisdeadshow@gmail.com. I'll get all your information. I'll send that off. And like I said, we'll do another giveaway on the next Post Mortem, and Baseball's Not Dead. You'll get another chance then. Thanks again, guys, for joining me, and I'll see y'all around.